A main reason that basic cognitive faculties decline beyond 20 years of age is that the brain shrinks. Neurons die off faster than they are replaced, leaving us with a smaller brain. The cells in your brain are organized in an extraordinarily intricate fashion. Your memories and skills are built into the patterns of connections between billions of brain cells. When new cells are added into the system, the process of integrating them into those existing circuits takes a lot of work. Those new cells have to learn to contribute to the existing computational system. As neurons die off, the brain loses some of its computational ability. The human brain is remarkably robust. However, when we encode a memory, it's not saved in a single place. All our memories are encoded across thousands, in some cases, millions of neuronal cells. If a few of those cells die, the memory will still be accessible. If a few neurons involved in performing some skill are destroyed by injury, you will still be able to perform that skill. But if enough neurons die off, eventually the system is compromised, and the basic abilities measured by cognitive testing decline. Neurons die as a result of physical injury, disease, or circulatory issues that prevent blood from flowing to a region of the brain. The majority of neuronal death, however, is a result of simple inactivity. Neurons exhibit bursts of electrochemical activity called action potentials that cause signals to be sent to neurons nearby. If one neuron receives enough signals from excitatory neurons around it, then that neuron may be excited enough to exhibit its own action potential. Action potentials make up the code that our brain uses to perform computations that support our perception, cognition, and action control. Those action potentials are also a critical part of the neuronal cell's physiology. It's part of how they pull nutrients and oxygen from the bloodstream, and how they expel waste products. If a neuron stops exhibiting action potentials long enough, it will starve. Now you may ask me, how can we prevent the brain shrinkage? The best way to reduce age-related brain shrinkage is to keep your brain active. Physical activity, even moderate exercise like walking, inspires neural activation, and even the creation of new neurons in certain areas of the brain. One of the best ways to inspire broad-based neural activity, however, is to try new activities. As we become more experienced at some activity, our brain becomes faster and more accurate in producing the proper actions at the right times. As we become very expert at that activity, several lines of research have shown that we don't employ more of our brain to support the activity. On the contrary, we learn to use less of our brain, developing specialized circuits that rapidly, automatically mediate the task performance. To maintain brain health, you need to stimulate your brain. What is counterintuitive is that one of the best ways to broadly stimulate brain activity is to take on new activities for which you are specifically not an expert. The more challenging the task, the more of your brain will be recruited to support it, and the less your brain will shrink. But you do not need to challenge yourself all the time. One simple way to reduce the shrinkage is laughing. There is good evidence that laughter helps keep your brain especially stimulated. A great deal of progress has been made in understanding our brain's processing of humor. One of the central mechanisms is incongruity detection and then resolution. As your brain identifies incongruity and then corrects its initial